Hello and welcome, everyone. I'm pleased to bring you the next chapter in the construction of Shimmerpool. This is going to be a random map scripting stream. I'm going to mostly be focusing and hitting generate and cursing at myself when it doesn't work quite right. Shimmerpool is based off of Karga, which is an old Oasis-style desert map that I did a while ago. And although it is interesting, it's not really in the very interesting stage yet, although this actually might be a little bit interesting because we're laying down the terrains, and that's probably the most fast-paced portion of making a random map script. But we're not going to be playing or anything like that. It's not going to be super entertaining. It's just going to be me making a record of working on this map, I guess. But you're welcome to hang out with me if you want. We did do some good work last time. We sort of completely reconstructed how this ellipse is generated. And we've started to introduce seasonal variants, like we've got the ice here, and we got the snow up here. This is the light desert biome. We've got several different biome options here. All right, let us come over to our code. I just spent a few minutes reviewing exactly what it is we want to do, or what we did in the past. And I'm going to say layering over, now that that beach is in place, let's see, maybe outer cap terrain. Okay, and this is going to be kind of important. We're going to have to be careful about this for different map sizes. Not this one, but the next one, and you'll see. Okay, so we're going to copy that line there. We're going to create terrain, and this is going to be outer cap. We're going to have an outer and an inner cap. Okay. So the base terrain is going to be water type. 11%, 100, all that stuff looks good. Space and other terrain types, let's set that to, I don't know, 3. 3 should probably be good. Okay, and we also need to define outer cap. Outer cap is going to be defined as, I guess it's going to be in the Oasis terrains. Constant outer cap, and we are going to set that equal to whatever the ice terrain is. Let's see. Here we go. 35, that's the number. Even though it's predefined, we have to do the numbers here. Oops. Because if we don't, then we will struggle a lot more with these multi-biomes. Defining outer cap. Terrain for cold desert. Okay, so that should do it. We don't need this. We just need this. Okay. So can comment all that stuff out. We don't need any of that. So we should have ice appearing now, 3 tiles away from the shore. Excellent. There we go. Actually, is this ice not navigable? That would be a problem. It looks like it's kind of, well, it looks like it's got these different colors, you know? These different colors. Let's just check to make sure that, yeah, okay, so the camel rider can go there. The cannon galleon cannot. Okay, we want the navigable ice. It looks like it made an ice beach, but it did not make it navigable ice. We want this ice to be navigable. Let's see if we can find that. Aha! Ice navigable is 26. Okay, good. So let's go and change that definition to 26. Defining outer cap terrain for cold desert as navigable ice. There we go. All right, that looks a lot more reasonable. I think this is the wider version. This is the wider version of the map. It actually could be pretty useful to sort of conditionally have it detect which version it's dealing with and then adjust the spacing accordingly. But now if we came in with the cannon galleon, yeah, okay, the cannon galleon can break across the ice for that. Okay, that is good. But I think units can also walk on it as well. This is the cold desert, but it's not that cold. It's not that solid. Okay. So let's continue on. So we got this outer cap. Let us define next the inner cap. Now, I think I'm going to make the inner cap slightly different. Actually, I think I'm going to, in this case, make it the same thing. Because we're building the structure. Oops, I keep doing that. We're building the structure for the map. So we can go in and adjust these terrains and make it all perfect later. Defining inner cap terrain for cold desert as we have the choice. We can make it non-navigable ice, or we can make it navigable ice. I almost think it should be there should be like a 50% chance. You know, give it a 50% chance that it could just be more navigable ice or non-navigable ice. But I think we're just going to keep it as navigable ice for now. We could maybe go back to that and adjust that later. All right, so we hit generate. We're going to clear the map up. Gives us a different orientation. And we can maybe put some ice connecting this. So the relics are in the middle, but you don't have to swim to them. You can just walk over the ice to get there. So we could do that. So let's come back down here. Oh, actually, this is the inner cap. This isn't going to come into relevance until later. Layering over inner cap terrain. Hey, Cookie Pirate, welcome. And you know, just so that we can tell the difference, let's set that inner cap terrain to 35. So space and other terrain types is going to be maybe 2. And we'll set that inner cap terrain to 35 because the ice at that point is thick enough that you cannot navigate across it. So we'll say non-navigable ice. There we go. Did we finish our thought down here? No, we did not. We need outer cap here. Okay. Well, this is the particularly frigid version of it. Yes, it's Shimmerpool this time. All right, so that should work. But we're gonna have this is Karga. We've got the desert variations. We've got more temperate variations. So let's see here. So we got our cannon galleon, can navigate in, but we cannot navigate. Perfect. We can't navigate all of it. Let's see if we can get a version that has the thinner slit. Oh, nope, that's not quite it. Okay, here we go. So this is really the one that we need to design for. This cannon galleon can go 1, 2, but not there. 1, 2, but not there or there. So it looks like we basically have two slots. So if we tried to increase that avoidance anymore, we would fail. It does look cool. Well, I mean, you got all this inappropriate terrain out here, which we still have yet to operate on. But we can deal with that later. So that's just about what it has to be there. We can't really do much more than that. So now we're going to create like potential, let's say like cap bridge, I guess we'll call it. We're going to say layering cap bridge terrain. Actually, we really don't need the word terrain here, do we? It's sort of redundant. Just one more thing that somebody has to read. I don't understand why the boat is allowed to sail in as far as it can. What do you mean? Oh, in terms of just AoE physics? So, well, we were just testing to see the boundaries of the inner cap. On the warmer maps, this outer cap is really not going to be a cap at all. It's just going to be deep water. And then we're going to transition it to shallows, and there are going to be relics on those shallows and everything. So it's basically just there to help me keep track. In theory, this is all going to be navigable beach, and probably it's going to be able to sail around, but we could... is the middle ice causing that? Where can it sail on the white ice but not on the clear ice? Okay, so yeah, don't worry about how it looks. These two forms of ice are identical. The only reason it looks whiter out here is because it's adjacent to the water. But there is an invisible layer of non-navigable ice that's right there. So for instance, if we came in, where are we? And instead of inner cap terrain, we did like DLC black. But we're essentially using this as a programmatic placeholder because on future maps, when we don't have this ice terrain, we're going to have, oh yikes. Well, actually, this stuff might simply not mate as well as the other stuff, hopefully, because it's considered a land terrain, so that's probably why it's not. Let me do something else, like deep water, and it should occupy that sliver properly. We'll keep the seed, and it'll be very obvious because it'll be dark blue. Oh, nope. All right, well, I guess we will cross that bridge when we come to it. If we only have one relic in the center, then so be it. Then so be it. We'll have to solve that later. All right, so inner cap. All right, so now we're going to layer the cap bridge. And to do that, we are going to take this and copy that here now and then paste it there. Except we're going to decrease the land percent. Maybe we only make it 1%. And we're going to remove spacing to other terrain types. And we're going to call this cap bridge. And again, we're going to come up here to where everything is sort of defined generally. And we're going to go constant cap bridge. And we're going to let that equal 26. So we're going to define the cap bridge terrain as navigable ice. Defining So we should have these little pockets of water here. That's kind of the goal. We might do like a terrain mask too. You can see how this is starting to freeze over. I think we're going to leave it at 1%. It appears to have approximately, well, let's see. So can units cross? Yeah, this camel rider can get across. He can also get across here too, and he can cross up here. So he can cross in a few places. It looks like he's got more options up here than over here. So we might have to decrease that spacing to 2. Of course, he can run around on this ice as well. But the goal is to put little shorefish in here. Try to get it all balanced out. Maybe do another generation or 2. We might have to do 2%. What happens if we change it to 2%? Just to make sure that it's consistent. In this case, we do want it to connect. And it's navigable ice, so it's not going to affect ships. Oh yeah, look at that. That is what we want. That is much better. You can see it kind of comes all the way up here, but it's okay, it doesn't matter. Camel rider can cross. Ships can cross, but they can't really go on the thick ice in the middle. But they can go around. Can somebody still dock? Let's check. Yep. It appears that they can. And I think that we need to make it a terrain mask 2, so it blends in a little bit more nicely with the water that's around it. This is a good example of one that is with the thinner lake. Terrain mask 2. There we go. You really can't be quite as complicated, I don't think. It could get pretty out of control. Oh no. Well. Really? Really? That is bizarre. We're going to try undoing that and see if it goes back to the way that it was. Okay. So it goes back to the way that it was, but terrain mask 2. Okay. All right. Yeah, that's fine. To help make it look a little clearer and distinguish it a little bit better. Freezing cold, shimmering lake. So I don't know what that was, why we randomly failed to generate for some reason. The Ponari Castle. So I think you can build palisade walls on that. Yes, you can. Look at that. And then you can have berserks running around. And yeah. So this is all still good stuff. Okay. So this is good. We've got the water layering pretty much figured out.
It looks weird and cool at the same time.
Yeah, you got all this desert right here, and then there's a frozen lake. Exactly. The ice is breaking up in the spring. That's exactly how it's supposed to look. It's supposed to look like it's still a cool season, and there was a winter time, but it's not hard frozen. There's going to be a hard cold desert. There's going to be a hard desert that's basically that this is completely frozen over, like a ghost lake. Um, and this is all going to be just solid snow out here. There's going to be a version of that if you can imagine it. So we got this mud here. And the first question that we have to ask ourselves is this mud appropriate for our frozen theme? Or can we do a little bit better? Can we make this like dirt snow or something? I think we're going to try with the mud. We're going to try to make the mud work. Oh yeah, we're not. Don't worry. We are going to put relics out here. We will put relics out there. Oh, which reminds me, I have a modification I need to make to Gitchigume to make it so that the king isn't trapped when he first spawns. Okay, so we'll continue on with this. Oasis layering. So this is everything that we've done with the water here. And the beach. So now we're going to consider what can we mask over this mud terrain here. Actually, yeah, we'll work our way out. So we should probably mask snowy leaves and leaves and snow. But actually, probably not too many leaves, right? Because it is the desert, and this is going to start to get into forested areas. We're going to start to have forests up here. And this is a light desert, so we're going to have, I guess, some pine trees up here. We're going to have snowy pines up here. So we'll get to it instead of talking about it. All right, so we're going to have masking, what did we call that? Over it's going to be the second innermost rank, RT2. Masking over RT2. And what mask are we going to use? Okay, so we're going to do constant RT2 mask. Can I scroll back up to my seasons quickly? Yeah, these are the biomes that I've got planned out. What I have commented out is what I'm actually going to do, and what I have currently is just to make sure that I get the biome that I'm working on every single time. So it looks like there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it looks like there's going to be 30 different biomes total. 6 times 5. But there's going to be a lot of overlap between the two. Yeah, but I don't know that the seasons are all going to be unique. Like, for example, the jungle biome. If it picks the jungle biome, then, what am I going to do for hard winter, light winter, spring season, summer season, and fall season? It's basically all going to be the same because those seasons are the same when you've got the jungle. Well, remember that I have a lot of experience doing random map scripts. Oops. I know how it's done. So if somebody like me could not do this, then who could, right? Who could do something complex like this? And you know, Zetnus has done something like this. It's a little work. It's a little bit of work, but I'm willing to set it up. Zetnus did that for Elysium, one of his newer maps, where he makes it so that there's all kinds of different season compatibility and such. So we are going to put light snow over this mud. So we got to find light snow. And where is it? Snow Light is the fairest of them all. Snow Light. There we go. It's number 73. Oh, and there's also, okay, there's underbrush leaves, and it's similar to leaves. All right, so Snow Light is number 73. Okay, and we're going to say, shoot, I always do that. We're going to say defining mask for RT for second innermost ring. Once you get the hang of it, it's not too bad. All right, so we are going to create terrain. And it's going to be RT2 mask. The base terrain is going to be RT2. We'll try 2% land for now. The terrain mask is going to be 1. Ah, okay. You have better texturing. All right, let's see how this works. So we're going to have snowy mud. Mud, and it's going to have snow on it. What do you guys think? I think that we need a little bit more snow in order for this to be convincing. But remember that there's also going to be, we're also going to have snowy pine forest on this. In fact, honestly, maybe we should do that first. Okay. So let's do application of forest over RT2. And we're basically just going to have this. And we're going to have RT2 forest. And maybe land percent 2 is fine. There's no terrain mask for this. And we'll have to determine land percent and number of clumps in a sort of iterative fashion. All right. So we'll come up here and now we'll define RT2 forest. And that's going to be snow pine forest, I think. But because it's a desert, I don't know that I want it to have as much. So we'll have to think about exactly how that works. Let's see, forest. It should be up here. What am I doing? Snow forest, and it's number 21. Okay. Defining forest for RT2, or for second innermost ring. Try to give it a more meaningful name. Okay. And we've got that defined down here. Just keep on helping itself to expanding. Okay. I think that looks pretty good, actually. It looks a little bit, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. But these wood lines are somewhat small, and I do think that they will be quite annoying. But we're mostly concerned with how it looks right now. That's the primary concern. We can adjust the amount of wood that's available in each of these trees pretty easily. I agree. The snow is a little bit patchy, isn't it? It is still slightly patchy. And do you guys think that this is too many trees? Do you guys think that this is just too many pine trees here? I mean, I guess if this is an entire desert and we have very few other trees out here, it won't be as big of a deal. Um, So you think it's okay? We are going to have more. I guess we could have more bushes and stuff out here. It should be fine. Um, let's dial up the amount of mask slightly. Maybe give it 4% and see what happens. Yeah, there we go. Look at that. And on this dirt, we're going to put some snowy bushes radiating out from the center, sort of continue our theme here. It seems better to you. That's good. I would like to test something that I'm thinking about it here. I would like to place these trees as objects, so it gives me a little bit more control, but I'm trying to decide if I want to do that now or if I want to do that later. I'll do it later. So the first thing that we have to decide is, do we have the best possible terrain for this dirt here? Or could there be a better terrain other than dirt that would look better? I think we should leave it as dirt for now. We can always change it later. Hey, Waffle King, welcome. We can always change it from dirt later. So let's just go over here and we will apply a different type of forest to RT2. We should also do checks to make sure that this scales well for different map sizes, because if it doesn't, we'll have to add in conditionals. So now we're going to do something for RT3. We're going to have RT3 forest, a base terrain of RT3. We're going to give it land %2 again. Yeah, that's all fine. This is, after all, a desert. The random map scripting? Oh, there is an Age of Empires server with some pretty smart people in it who helped me learn how to random map script. A lot of those guys, they've worked together, they've dissected the game files, and they've reverse engineered a lot of it. Zetnus is a big name, and he's a friend of mine, and he actually has an entire guide. You can learn how to random map script. But I'll also show you what I can too. I've I've taught Cookie Pirate how to random map script, and I've helped others in our guild learn how to random map script. It's a big part of what we do. Okay, so and then let's give it another type of terrain mask. Let's copy this over here too. Define that. So we'll have RT3 Forest and RT3 Mask. We'll place both on RT3, and we'll basically just copy this here. No, the alchemy community is not primarily a scripting guild. We have people that have no clue how to script random maps in our guild, and that's okay. But they're adventuresome and they like to try new things, and so it's a good opportunity for them to help you test it. Most people just want to play Age of Empires. These scripting streams are generally not very interesting. All right, so we're going to have RT2 Forest here for innermost. What I want second. We want to do second outermost ring at this point. So the guild generally will show up if I'm doing something interesting like playing Age of Empires team games. But every once in a while they'll pop into a scripting stream and say, "Hey Tech, how's it going? You're awesome. Now I'm gonna go somewhere else, someplace more entertaining." But if you're a random map scripter, if you know how all this works and stuff, then you can relate to it a lot more, I think, and bring it up. So that's why Cookie Pirate is here. We have a Cookie Pirate and a Waffle King now. I think we need to have a bake-off. Okay, so the second outermost ring, the forest terrain that we're going to use for that is going to be a new number. And let's take a look over here, and let's see if we can find that snowy bush terrain. Let's see. Bush. There's forest bush. Uh, hmm. Where are the other bushes? Forest oak bush. It's identical to forest prior to DE. Really? We only have 2 bushes here? Ah, snap. All right, well, that's fine. So what we're going to do is we're going to use 89 for now, and we'll just put that in. And then RT2 mask is going to be the same as RT... Oh, wait. No, these need to be 3. Yes, there we go. RT3 mask is going to be the same as whatever RT2 is, which is mud, which is 76. So we're going to put 76 here. Okay. Now there is one more thing that we need to do, and that is that this is going to be just bushes. So I need to bring up my Gitchigume code. And I actually need to copy the upgrade command from that. Let's see, let's bring up GitHub real quick. I'll show you guys. Sign in. Oops. Let me do this real quick. Let's see. So we come over to our communities repository. It's not much, but it's getting there. All right, gitchigume.rms. And we're going to find that command that's upgrading the bushes into snowy bushes. Upgrading regular bushes to snowy bushes. Yes, this is what we want. FB, forest bush, African bush. Why do I have 2 of these? Gaia upgrade unit, forest bush and African bush into ABS. African bush snowy. Okay, well, let's copy both of that. And we will paste that in here. So we upgrade this since I think we are going to need it. Oops. And that's just for this one. Okay, now that should work. So when we hit generate, we should get snowy African bushes around the outside instead. Aha! Yes, we do. And look at this. They're around the player town centers too. Well, that's not acceptable. Because the player town centers... Oh, the player town centers are actually this base dirt terrain as well. So we need to change the player town centers to whatever this outer ring is right here. But we should nevertheless have these bushes avoid that anyway. So we can program that in. Okay, and so we're going to say the mask is okay, but we need to say set avoid player start areas by 15 perhaps. And now when we hold this seed, those bushes should avoid the player town centers. Ah, yes, excellent. Because you need space to build your town. And I think what we're also going to do is we're going to try to collect these into real forests. So this is not going to look appropriate for a desert map, but we have to envision this as we're making the temperate or the standard oasis type map. So we are going to try to collect these forests a little bit better and increase the amount. And then we'll use some object trickery to get the desert to have less dense trees, because that's what deserts are all about. The lack of available water means that trees are not as numerous. I think that this dirt actually blends just fine, although we should mask the remainder of this dirt with snow. But we may actually consider just hitting it mostly with snow actually, and just having a little bit of dirt in here. Or we could mask a little bit of the dirt in the, actually that's probably the play. The play. It's probably the thing to do. Not around the water though, they're pretty densely packed around the water source. Yeah, that's true. Waffle King says you have a very thorough way of explaining things. Oh, I know, it drives people crazy. They're just like, get to the point, man. All right. Let's actually just do this. RT2 mask 1, and we're actually going to have 2 masks here. So we're going to have RT2 mask 1, and then we're going to have RT2 mask 2. And we'll copy this. We'll paste it down here. And we're actually going to set RT mask, defining first mask and second mask. Okay, so this one is going to be equal to whatever RT3 is, which is 6. So we'll set that equal to 6. Yeah, that's fine. And then we'll just make sure that we apply both of these masks. RT mask 2. And okay, let's try that. Cookie Pirate says, I take it this is direct placement. Yes, because if it were not, then I mean, who knows where these players could end up? One of them could end up like right here, and the other could end up like over here or something. It would be a mess. It wouldn't handle it. But that is not to say that the player starting locations are not random. They are. But I don't know how many there are. Let's see how many different player starting locations there are. I may not have actually programmed that in yet. Let's see. Oh, no, it looks like I did. Looks like there are quite a few. Okay, so we have... Actually, there aren't that many. It looks like... Yeah, there's just 27 starting locations for each player. So... Yeah, just 27. Yeah, anyway. Where was I? Oh, right. I was masking. Yes, we masked dirt on top of this mud. Yes, that looks really good. 27's a boatload per player. Well, maybe, but not relative to my other maps. There isn't as much really space to put people because the Oasis is, it constrains your clocking. So like you couldn't have a variation where these players rotated 90 degrees. So that wouldn't work. But if we went up to like a large map size with 8 players, you'll see what I mean. We have to have the direct placement so that the players will adopt an elliptical pattern. Otherwise, if you did create player lands, it would try to place them circularly, and players would not be fairly spaced from the Oasis. Yeah, and we need to adjust our some of our terrains here for the lake. We need to adjust our spacing. Okay, so we got this dirt applied here, and instead of applying the mud out here, we were going to apply the snow, and then we were essentially going to do like, okay, we're going to take whatever terrain is out here, and we're going to apply that as a partial mask, and then snow as the other partial mask. All right, so RT3 mask 1, and then we need to copy this, and we need to do RT3 mask 2. Okay. So this is going to be RT3 mask 2. And it is going to be snow light. So set that equal to 3. Defining, we're going to call it second mask. And then the first mask is going to be our whatever the ring terrain 4 is, which is 42, which I don't think we're going to actually stick with that. We'll have to find a better one. But for now, and we're going to define the first mask. Oh wait, yeah, no, it's RT4. Okay. So this should help it blend a little bit more handsomely. We're not going to see the mud, but we will see the dirt 4 make its way in here, and we will see the snow make its way in here. something like that. I think it would look better if it were not dirt 4 though. So we really need to find a good, what's a good compromise between the traditional dirt that we had and this desert out here. There's got to be some base terrain. Maybe you guys will have suggestions. And we're also going to make the player lands the same terrain as that. Let's take a look. Because that dirt 4 just looks very reddish. It doesn't look appropriate. This is dirt 3. It's more grassy. I don't know if I really want grassy dirt. We could give it a try. But it's supposed to be the desert. So let's see if we can find a better option. We might come back to that. Jungle, bamboo, pine forest, snow forest, deep water, medium water, road. No. So this dirt snow and grass snow is like pre-masked stuff. Before terrain masking was available, these terrains were introduced, like in the Age of Conquerors. So you're running around as Attila the Hun in the campaigns with like snowy grass in front of you. It's pretty cool. Maybe DLC Savannah? No, I don't know. We wanna transition into just straight up desert here. And we don't want terrain with special properties, like you can't build buildings on or something. That would be annoying. What if we did rice farm dead or like farm dead? Could that work? Let's try 8. Let's try 8. See how that looks. Oops. Dirt 4? This is dirt 4. All right. See how 8 looks. This is going to be the dead farm. It's a little too squarey, you know? It could be cool to have farm terrain in a different version of the map, but I don't think this is it. Do desert with dirt 4 masked on top. I can't do that right now, but I could replace it with desert. Right now it's dirt 4. Okay, well I guess we could set it back to dirt 4. I have 42 for dirt 4. Because we are inherently going to mask the desert on it. Let's see. Yes. Yep, it's number 42. Okay. Yep, that's the idea. So we need to change these to 42 as well. Whoa, 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 Cookie Pirate. Stop attacking me with all caps. I'm sorry I missed your message, Cookie Pirate. Looks like we put the Waffle King to sleep. Okay, so that appears to be back to normal. Yes. So now we can apply, do a little bit more here. Yeah, I don't like this too much, but we're gonna keep this hanging around here for a little bit, and I'll explain why later. So we need to have RT4 forests. It's going to be the same snowy bushes. And then we're going to have these masks. One of them is going to be the same as the desert terrain. So that is going to be 14. RT4 is, what do we call it? The second outermost ring. What? So this would be first outermost ring. There we go. So first, and then these are the second. So desert, and then light snow. It doesn't like peer pressure, huh? Ah, right. We don't have any code applying these, and we need it. We need some. We want on here. Work on. Application of forest on. Okay. And then we need to change these to 4s. Save that. So this is after those masks are applied. Now we can apply some dirt to this sand. Some RT4, perhaps, but we're basically going to call it the base mask here. And we're going to do that in combination with lots of snow, and this is really going to be what the tell, you know, this is where we're going to determine whether or not this is going to work. I guess we can always adjust the proportions, number of clumps, and how it's applied and such. So I think that this oasis layering is done. So we're going to define, well, we'll put it in oasis layering. Why not? Why not for now? It'll just be confusing. Other than that, there's really no reason. So it's not going to have a forest, but it's going to have, oops, masking over RT3, masking over RT4, and this last one is going to be masking over base terrain. Create terrain. All right, and this is going to be base mask 1. And this is going to be base mask 2. I think we want BT here. Yep. And should we put the masks up here? Let's do it. Base mask 1. And that's going to be 42. Base mask 2. And that's going to be 73. Oh wait. Yeah, I guess we have to put the dirt down to some extent. This just looks too big of a distinguishment. Looks like it only applied 1. And that's base mask 2. So what's the deal with that? Apply it to base terrain BT. It says it's applying both. Base mask 1, base mask 2. Why does this keep opening up? I don't keep opening that. I'm actually just going to get rid of this player force assignment. We're not going to need it. Not for now, not for a while. I can always go dig it up from one of my other codes if I find I need it later. Alright, what happens if we change this to 100%? Okay, then it appears. So it is going to appear. But it's very faint. It almost might not be the right the right choice. Might almost need a stronger terrain to blend with this desert terrain out here. Hmm. If we do land percent 0 for the snow, we just allow this dirt out here. All right, well, that's not right. Hold on a second. Base mask 1. Oh, base mask 1 is okay. Whoops. Sorry, my bad. We need to turn that up. Scroll back up to the top. It keeps on uncollapsing these. Come on. Okay. So let's set this to 100 and this to 0 and then see what happens. Now that blends in pretty well. That looks a lot more like how I would expect it to look. So we just got to find a happy medium between those two. We have to apply enough snow and enough dirt to make it look like a believable transition. Yeah, that looks good. Cookie Pirate says, I might have figured out a solution to the water issue building the lands almost exactly as they are built in the Baltic. Well, remember we talked about the idea of putting a lot of little lands sort of in a circle and using those to block the player lands from expanding too close to the edge. Because right now the player lands are expanding too close to the edge and they're preventing your neutral lands from growing. All right, so we just got to find ourselves some good numbers here. So let's try 10 and 10 and see, I guess, what it needs more of. Actually, we could do 100. We really don't want unmasked. We really don't want unmasked desert out here. We'll do 100. And let's dial this up to 20. The problem is that it's so... They look so different. Yeah, but they were also preventing the neutral lands from growing out from the edges to fill in the water gaps from the player lands. Well, you could use the player lands maybe to grow those tentacles. Hmm. I don't know. I don't really know that I like that very much. What if we change the base terrain to 42? So the base terrain was actually the same as the outer ring. Probably looked pretty crazy. Yeah, then we'd start getting stuff like this. We'd get all of that out there, and we don't want that. But that's not to say that we couldn't adjust other things later. We can't have that as the same as our base terrain. What if we use this dirt snow for our base terrain? Dirt snow, 33. Just to experiment with it. I mean, it's possible to just convert it back into dirt and call this the desert. I think that fits in better with the town centers. And then we won't need those masks. Waffle King kind of likes the look. Hey, Waffle King, welcome back. It's definitely much harder. Much harder when you're doing multiple biomes. The lack of grass is kind of jarring. Well, it's the desert. Deserts can be cold. This is what we initially developed here. But I want a lot smaller clumps. Maybe we can revisit and see if we can get the clumps to be smaller. Well, actually, not really. We can't really do a better clumping than this. Not unless we did like number of tiles. Maybe. Number of tiles 1. I think something weird happens with terrains where it like propagates the number of tiles according to the number of clumps. Let's see. No. I don't know. Maybe we just accept the desert here. Just accept that this is how it's going to look. Is there a longer term plan for the desert? There kind of is. I need to put down a its terrain mask needs to be simple. So maybe what I do is I bring the desert into this ring a little bit better. Maybe that's what I do. So come over here to, maybe we go back to land percent and maybe we make it 1 or something. So RT, what's RT4 mask? Okay, good. RT4 mask 1 is the desert. So if we increase the amount of the desert that we're masking in here, ah, crap. Come on. Maybe we increase that to 10. We start dialing that up so that the desert appears to permeate into the oasis better. Yeah? It's getting there. We still want clumps of snow and stuff to appear out here, but this is definitely a better blend. Maybe we'll dial it up even a little bit more than that, since it's quite large. And we really should we should start over and work our way from the inside too. We should implement some improvements. Yeah, this is I guess it's just about as good as we can get it here. Short of adding a little bit of dirt out here. Let's first of all, let's see if we can scale this a little bit better. We've got this giant island here in the center that we don't want. We've got this, yeah, it's a cap. So we'll get this cap squared away. That's progress. And to do that, we've got inner cap, which we're making, but the outer cap we make first. And that's got some space in other terrain types. So what we want is we want to condition that according to the size. And for that, the size of the map. And for that, we need to pull up Zetnus's guide, because that's got all of this lovely reference material in it. So let me bring that up. Okay. Let's see here. Let's find map sizes. Oh, come on. What do you mean you can't find map sizes? Here we go. Map sizes. Let's jump here. All right, so this gives all the different conditionals that we need to incorporate. So I'll bring this over onto the other screen. All right, and we need to address this. So we're going to have if tiny map, then have that spacing, and if. Okay, so else if small map, it'll have a different spacing, which we haven't determined yet. Else if medium map, these names do not correspond with what the game calls them in the scenario editor. Else if large map, else if huge map, else if, or it'll just say else. That'll be fine. Because the other option is gigantic and ludicrous, and we're not really going to do anything special for ludicrous. Okay. Do you have any experience with scripting, like map events, roles, etc.? I'm not really sure what you mean by that, Waffle King. I'm not a scenario maker, so I can't program triggers or anything like that, and random map scripts don't really do that kind of thing. They don't do triggers, but we can make some pretty exotic random map scripts for sure. Um, could really push the limits of what's possible. You saw Gitchagume on the stream last night. At least you saw the initial part of it, perhaps. If you caught Panda Bear's stream, you would have seen more of the map. But that's a pretty cool map. It's not something that could be easily scripted by other scripters in the community. Okay. So we're going to include a space in other terrain types of 3. And we're basically just going to adjust this. The environment was really special. Exactly. All about special. Okay, so we're going to tell it to do space in other terrain types 3 for every choice for now. But we're obviously going to come back in here and change these. So let's first of all set the players back to 2 players so that we don't have extra players interfering with our operations. And we're going to go to the small map size. We'll generate that. Now let's do a few generations to get the thinner version. This is the thin version that we care about. Make sure that we know what the thin version looks like. Okay, so this is a thinner version. So we'll save this seed. Then we come in here and we're going to check with the caravels. So we essentially have 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, okay. So we've got some extra space to work with over here. This is basically our gap. On a tiny map size, this gap is hardly noticeable. So we are going to increase this number from 3 to 4. And then hit Control S to save. And now we're going to generate under the same seed, and we're going to measure it again. Right now it looks like it's about 4 or 5 across. So now we're going to measure it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. So maybe 1, 2, 3 in this location. I bet we could bump it up one more, I think. Yeah, let's do that. Well, I don't know. Let's leave it at 4 for now. We'll leave it at 4 for now and we'll move on. Medium map size. Now we know that the medium map size cannot be less than the one before it. So we'll make this 3. Sorry, we'll make it 4. Save. And now we'll hit generate. And it'll be probably just a little bit wider. You can probably note that our puddles are going to start to struggle, I think, of not really being sufficient. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Because as we start getting bigger, the lake is going to get bigger, and it is done by a percent, but sometimes it doesn't increase proportionally based on the shape of the land and such. Okay, so we're gonna increase that to 5. I think I had this worked out for the previous version of Karga, but we'll work it out again. So we'll increase it up to 5, and then we'll hit generate, and we'll see how it goes. We need to get this gap thing figured out. Yeah. I bet we could do 6. So we increase by 1 here, by 2 here. That could be the trend. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we've basically got 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so this is good. This is good for us on this map size. So now we'll go up to the next map size, the 6-player map size, and we will try going up 2 again. So we'll say 8. We'll hit generate. And you got to understand that there will be some variation between the two, so we have to play it a little bit safe, you know, a little bit conservative. Some of the thin ones will be thinner than others, so we might calibrate it for a thin one that's just too thin. Oh yeah, it's too thin, or it's too thick. So we will bump it up to 9. So this one's increasing by 3. I'm starting to notice a trend. Yeah, that's good. Looks like there's a thin stretch here that they can't. Yeah, that'll be fine. And then let's hop up to the next size. Large. Now, large, we forgot to change the number, so this will probably be coming right back out to the edge. Just like that. So, so this one we will increase by 4. Oops. Since the last one increased by 3, we'll increase this one by 4 and check it and make sure that it's good. So this one will go up to 13. Here we go. Oh, this one might be a little bit too thin, you guys. The trend does not continue. Yeah, so we failed to spawn the non-navigable island in the center, so therefore we will relax this back to 12. And let's see. Okay, we do have a couple in the middle. Yep, so that's good. That'll work. Well, there's nothing over here, but toward the center of it, it'll be okay. Okay. We'll keep that for now. So we'll go up by 3 again for the final one. This one will be 15. Hey, Lamerta Paluda, welcome. No, it's not the Eye of Sauron. Although I guess you could argue that it is. It's the pool, the shimmering pool for my Oasis map. This Oasis map is going to be better than traditional Oasis in every way. It's my remake of the map Karga. Yeah, 15 is too much. But I think this is going to be just right. What the heck? We'll give it a slightly larger island. 13. Okay. All right. Hey, have a good night, La Muerta Paluta. Thank you for stopping in. Well, remember that this is the desert. We're still working on this. We are going to clump the trees up. We will work on that. We just wanted to get trees out to just look at them, make sure that they were okay. So the next step is we have to scale this cap bridge. It's set at a fixed land percent of 2, but I think that we are just going to scale this again. We're going to manually scale it. We're going to go through each possible map size and essentially give it a number of tiles. Here we go. Let's copy that. So, copy that and we'll paste that in here. Save. So instead of space and other terrain types, we're going to do number of tiles. So, number of tiles, just like that. Now we need to think about this. 2% of the total number of tiles that are on a tiny map size. Well, 2% of 14400. So 14400 times 0.02. So we need 288 tiles. Make sure none of them have any unsecured loans from shady people located behind a Denny's. Thank you. That is good advice, Waffle King. I'm sure as a king of waffles, you would be very familiar with the safety afforded by Denny's. All right, so we'll plug 288 in here. And we could try to like scale this up, but again, it's not fixed because it's not a perfect proportion. We could go in and do the math. It's an ellipse, and we can figure that kind of stuff out theoretically, but I just don't care enough. So, and I think it would take longer actually than just trying it. So that's what we're going to do. So we need number of tiles, 288 here. And I'm just thinking large. Let's paste that there. Oh, oops. Waffle House superiority. Number of tiles, 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 number of tiles. Okay, so that's all good. So we're calling out a specific number of tiles. Now the other thing I want to do is we should get the wider version of the lake. Because the wider version of the lake is going to be slightly fatter. It's going to have slightly larger area. And so therefore we need to make sure that our tiles are sufficient to cover the largest possible area. So we're actually going to hit random generate here. And we're going to hope that this opens up a bit. I think that this is a wider version. It certainly looks wider. Oh, we're still on the giant map size. Let's come down here to tiny. Okay, so this appears to be the wider version. Let's do a few more generations just to get comfortable with it. Yeah, this is the narrower version. This is the wider version. So we're going to keep this seed. We're going to take a close look at this. And we're going to see what we can do here. The camels can walk across this. Okay. What about ships? Dragon ships can sail across this. So it's all completely walkable and sailable. And I believe it should be dockable as well. Yep, dockable as well. So it looks like we cover it pretty adequately. We could even dial that back a bit. We might not need 288. We might be able to get away with a little less than that. Make it a little bit more holy and patchy. Maybe we make it 250. Let's see how that goes. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, look at that. That looks good. There's still some spots maybe that we could carve out. Let's try making it 220. Yeah, look at that. That looks good. Now, of course, if we tried 220 on a bigger map size, it wouldn't work very well. But I like this because it makes the ice look sort of uneven. Like there's patches of deeper water in here. So that's still pretty good. Okay, good. So now let's go up to the next size. Small size. And we need it to look about the same as this. Let's see here. Can the camels or other units travel across? They can. They can't go here, but they can go elsewhere. So 288 might be a little bit too big for the small size. And that's kind of what it is at default, I believe. So maybe we make this 250. And we hit generate again. Yeah, that's looking pretty close. Oops. We're not really going to get ahead by hitting generate again. We could maybe do 240. We'll go up. Oops. Yeah. Yeah, that looks good. Yeah, we're going to work our way out, so we'll work on these forests next. Okay. So the next one, we need to make at least 240. Probably going to have to go more than that. And that one is going to be the medium map size. Yeah, that looks pretty good. May increase it just a little bit, but that's legit right there. Let's try. Well, it has to be larger. Let's try 260. even better. So we're making it so that the units can walk across. That's going to be one of the features of if it's a cold biome. You can just walk across and get the relics. So this boyar he can go straight across. Well, not straight across, but he can find his way across. And be careful about where he steps on the ice. The water creeping up the hills to elevation 1. Uh-oh, that's not good. Okay, I like that. Let's move on to the next one. So the next size up, we'll make that one 280. Seems like we're going every 20. And so we'll go up to the normal size. We'll hit generate. Yeah, look at that. Do you guys think we need a little bit more? Or do you think this is good? This person has a little bit better access. It's not easy, but it is possible. I think it'll pretty much be guaranteed for all places. Maybe we dial it up just a little bit. Maybe we make it 290 tiles. Throw just a few more tiles in just to be safe. Yeah, there we go. I like that a bit better. Okay, and then the huge map, we went up 30 last time, so we'll go up 30 again. So we'll do 320. The next size up. I think we need to do a little bit more. Maybe we do 330. Yeah. Good. Oh yeah. That's right, you have been. Yeah, we pay close attention to that kind of stuff. I might need to increase it just a little bit more. It's not a good path across here. Okay. Yes, welcome, Waffle King. I'm going to increase it even a little bit beyond that. We'll leave it there for now. And the next one we're going to set up to maybe 450. Yeah, that looks good. I think we will bump this other one up just a little. maybe like to 360. Yeah, that'll be good. Excellent. So this is taken care of. We can proceed. So we can resolve these forests on RT2. So RT1 was essentially the lake. We'll do RT2 next. The big thing that's killing us is this number of clumps right here. We're not actually making forests, we're making scattered trees. So let's do number of clumps like 60 at a bare maximum. I don't think we're going to want more than that. Okay, as you can see, the trees are starting to clump together now. But still, I do not regard this as sufficient. So we do still have some terrain down here that we will consider putting, I guess, some reeds on. But let's do this forest first. So number of clumps, let's go down from 60 to 40. These clumps should get bigger because there are not as many of them. Yes, they are starting to collect. Let's start dialing up this land percentage now. So let's do land percent 4. This is really just stating the number of tiles in a way that scales with map size. Now these are starting to look more like Age of Empires forests, aren't they? This might be a little bit too much. These look better, don't they? All right. Let's increase this back to 60. Land percent 4. The little trails kind of form in. Oh, very important. Because if you don't have the trails forming in between them, then players will not be assured a passageway to the center. And if one player can get to the center and make fish, and the other player can't, then the players will complain. And you don't want people complaining. You don't want people complaining. I think I might move these town centers a little bit closer together, actually. Seems like they're a little far out. I think that this will be good for now. We're not going to mess with this too much more, except perhaps to try it on a smaller map size and see how it works. Oh, to do that, we'll need to adjust the seed. Let's go down to tiny map size. This should be okay. You can come around here and over here. Or he could come in, I think, this way. I think there's a gap here. Let's see. Yeah, the boyar can get in this way. So red has a more straightforward path. Okay. So we've got these bushes. So we're probably going to try to collect these next to make these more reasonably sized clumps. You could even argue that these clumps are not big enough. But we're going to do a little bit of trickery, I think, with... Oh, we should do space in other terrain types too, to ensure that the bushes are not too close to these trees. So let's move on to that next. So we have them avoiding player start areas, and then we will also do space in other terrain types of like 2. And then we will dial up their land percent for these bushes to 4. Not really sure where our upgrade is up there. That would make sense. And then maybe we do, instead of 9320, maybe we do number of clumps like 100. We'll save it and see how it looks. Oh, you know what? This is just on this dirt terrain in between, so it's not even really affecting this. That's why we're getting these thick rings here. Ah, okay. Well then, in that case, we will not give them a space in other terrain types. It's not really worth it. That'll give them a little bit more freedom. We'll hit generate and see if they're able to spawn a little bit better. Yeah, there we go. Okay, very good. Yeah, I like that. I think that's appropriate. That works well. All right. Next, let's take a look on large size here with 8 players. Just a quick sanity check. Oh, yep. That'll be good. Yep, and there's passageways. This player can still get into the lake. Nobody's really cut off. It's not a straight shot, but it's good. Let's come back down here to tiny with 2 players. The thing I don't like is how far of a walk it is to dock. I'm starting to really love the formations. You ain't seen nothing yet. Map making is beautiful. There's definitely a lot of opportunity. Okay. Yeah, they don't have to walk as far for the 2 players. So we might try to pull people in for the larger sizes, but we'll have to see how that goes. All right. Note that with the 2 players, basically the desert comes right up to their town center, whereas in the 8 player it does not. All right. So let's come down here and let's see. Where were we? Oh, yes. RT4. Application of forest on RT4. Land percent 2, and we had a very large number of clumps. Let's make this number of clumps equal to 120, and just confirm that they get larger. They aren't scattered so much. These ones we could do space in other terrain types of 2 if we didn't want such a large. Yeah, let's do that. So I think we need to give it a little bit of space here to adjust. So we'll do space in other terrain types 2. Here we go. So this will make sure that the bushes are not so close to the edge. It looks like we've lost the mask though. The snowy terrain mask in here. It's not as much snow on the ground. But this other stuff does look better. The collection of trees is much stronger in my opinion. But this is actually avoiding this terrain out here, which we don't want. So we have to ask ourselves, you know, do we really care that it's avoiding this edge by that amount? Is it worth it, or should we just relax that requirement? I think we're gonna relax it a little bit. We're gonna maybe give it an avoidance of 1. Nah, let's just get rid of it. Let's just get rid of it. Yeah, this is just about as dense as I want to make it, I think, for now. We do need to dial up the snow, though. Where are we? So we fill the rest in with snow. I believe the 4 is the snow. I could be mistaken. Still don't see very much snow in here. RT4. Mask 2 is indeed... It is indeed the snow. So, that tells me that there's not enough room. That the first type of mask is taking up all the space. So, we will decrease the amount of mask of the first type. Looks like it's at 20%. Let's set it at 10. Yeah, there we go. Getting patches of snow in here. So that's good. The dirt is still coming in. So that's also good. We want to give a different type of terrain mask between the two sides so that we can ensure that neutral resources are fairly placed. So we need to see if there is any forest that has this snow type terrain. Let's take a look and see if any type of forest is placed on snow. So snow forest is placed on grass snow in AOC, and it's placed on snow and a leaves mix in HD and DE. So this might be what we have to do. There's pine forest. Placed on leaves identical to... No, we can't do that. Oh, what about dead forest? Snowy bushes and dead trees placed on underbrush snow. Where is underbrush snow? Underbrush snow. Underbrush snow. So this is leaves and snow mixture. It's used by snowy forest terrains. So I think that this is what we have to place here. It's number 72, which is actually pretty close to the snow light. So let's try putting underbrush snow down. Let's see. That is BT mask. Mask 1. So we got 72. And we're going to comment this out for now. And we're just going to apply base terrain mask 1 in very large quantities. And this is basically what we're going to have to be happy with. I hope it works. I hope it works. Oh man, this is so annoying. All right, here we go. So we'll comment this out. And this is going to be land percent 100. Terrain mask 1. And we better hope that this looks good. Yeah, actually, that does not look half bad. It's still kind of brownish, so it still looks like the dirt and stuff. But we could, we could put some basic clumps of trees or bushes or something like that out here. And that could look fine. I use that for my cold autumn layering. It's not bad at all. I agree. So here's the reason why we have to do this. Let me explain. So, it's not as important on tiny map sizes because there's not as much room back here for neutral resources to be. But on larger map sizes, it can make a much bigger difference. So let's say that in our objects generation, we created an object, right? We create object gold, okay? And that object gold is a set Gaia object only. And I don't know. And we do terrain to place on. We do BT, and we do tight grouping, I believe is what it's called. And we have number of groups. Let's do like 4 groups, and let's do number of objects 2. And let's just see how that looks here. So this is a neutral object. It's not assigned to any player. What's the problem with this? What? Tight grouping. I guess we could look and see. I don't have these memorized as well. It's set tight grouping. Okay. All right, fine. Set tight grouping. Okay. So we got 4 of these that we've ordered, basically. Okay, the gold does not appear. What are we missing? Set Gaia object only, number of groups 4, number of objects 2, set type grouping terrain to place on BT. Oh, temp min distance group placement is going to equal 8. All right, so here it is. Here's one, and here's another. Here's one right here. And where's the other one, right? Maybe we should make it something that that stands out on the mini map a little bit better. Maybe we should make it stone so I can see it better. All right, so here's 1, 2, and 3. So these are 3 of these neutral golds are appearing on one side, while only 1 neutral gold is appearing on the other side. So, essentially, if we want to put neutral resources on this map, as it stands, we don't have a way of making sure that they're fairly distributed. Finally got the water figured out. Enabling on the land ring and not the water ring worked. Enabling only the land ring and not the water ring worked. Well, I'm not really sure exactly what that means, but I'm glad that you figured it out. Nope, not really. Because here's the thing. I guess I could maybe put 2 down, but those initial 2 that it's putting down, what's to stop it from putting 1 here and 1 here? And how do I target this side of the map, but not this side with invisible placeholders? How do I do that? As it currently stands, I can't. There's no way to do that. So therefore, this leaves open the possibility that essentially my neutral resources will be unfair. So the trick that we have to do is we have to mask the dead forest terrain on top of one of these expanses of desert. And then we'll mask the regular underbrush snow on the other. So watch this. So we're going to come over here, and we've got, where is it? We've got base mask 1 of 72, and we're going to introduce constant base mask 3, and we're going to, sorry, 2, and we're going to set that equal to our forest terrain. You normally can't mask forests. And actually, you technically cannot mask forests. But if you try to mask a forest, then it will simply mask whatever terrain the forest has under it instead. But it won't include any of the tree objects. So our forest dead is placed on underbrush snow. That's 106. So our base mask 2 is going to be 106. Just like that. And then when we come down here, instead of saying that we have number of clumps 9320, we say that we have 1 clump. And it has to try to take up as much of the land as possible. And then we copy this and paste it down here. And then we do mask 2, which is the dead forest, and we let it have 1 clump. Get rid of this. Save. And now, when we go to make this gold, we can include a parameter which is like masking to place on. Instead of, well, there is terrain to place on, but we're going to place on layer to place on, right here. We're going to use this. So the object will only be placed on the specified layering terrain. Works for terrain mask 1, which is what we have. So we're going to do layer to place on. And it's going to be base mask 1 versus base mask 2. So terrain to place on is BT, and then layer to place on is base mask 1. And we'll decrease this number of groups from 4 to 2, and we'll save. And then we'll copy that, and we'll put the other one on base mask 2. Just like that. So we'll save it. And now we'll keep this same seed, and when we hit generate, we should have 2 gold mines on this side and 2 gold mines on the other side. So let's go. So you can see that we've got this terrain on this side, and we've got this terrain on the other side. So we have 2 gold mines here. Let's check around to see if we can find any more. They kind of blend in, actually. The snow is and the desert and the leaves are a little bit gold-like. But as you can see, there are no other gold mines here. So these 2 neutral golds do indeed only appear on this one mask. And then if we look over here, there's a gold here, and there's a gold here. So we've got 2 golds on each side now. And we can introduce the random generator and just pull up a couple different seeds so I can prove it to you if you're still skeptical. Oh, it's just a coincidence. The only reason it changed is because you changed the code, so it's random seed. But here's 1, and here's 2, and then here's 1, and then here's 2. So we could basically do this all night, and we would get the same number on each one through that this one simple trick. Clickbait. Okay, 1, 2. So there we go, guys. That's how we do that, and we're going to take advantage of that terrain masking approach. We're not really, I mean, we're not, we're not exactly going to do our objects that way because we have a computer program that writes the objects for us. So there's not really any need to do any of that stuff. But it's a good test just to kind of illustrate what the plan is for this desert and why we can't get too elaborate with the terrain masking, because we have to apply this single clump of terrain mask. If we are applying multiple clumps, then there's a chance that whatever this one is could also end up over here too, and that would get very confusing. So I think the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to actually let's see if we can, before I change the subject again, let's see if we can get some reed forest perhaps on this area, RT1. See if we can put some stuff in here. We've already got it masked nicely. Let's see if we can sneak some forest in here. I think it's pretty much going to be reeds no matter the biome. So I'm pretty confident that we can just use reeds there. If we don't like it, we can change it up and give it its own variable. So let's just come over here, and we're going to just do really quick. Application of forest on RT1. And we're just going to use RT2 forest for now. And we're going to put it on RT1. And let's increase this maybe to 120. And maybe we'll decrease this to 1, and we'll just see what happens. See if we get our forest terrain in there. Yeah, look at that. So we even get some some real forest terrain right up to the edge of the water, which is kind of what we want. Don't know that we're going to be putting the big trees down here, but it it'll help. Okay, so guys, I'll be right back. Let me step away real quick. Gonna refill my water, and when I come back, we'll continue with Shimmerpool. We're gonna probably, I think we'll leave these trees for now, although I might work on them a little bit. But the big goal will be to, oh, you know, we actually really have most of the terrains, so I think I think that we can, yeah, I think that we're in really good shape here. Just have to start doing the objects at this point. Hey, La Muerta Paluda is still here. Once the game is started on that map, would the usual resources such as stone, hunting animals, etc. also appear? No. We have to go in and script those. We have to manually put those in. The game is not smart enough to do that. So when I get back, we'll do the objects generation. And we'll make sure that this map has plenty of objects that like the ones that La Muerta Paluda described. Now, because it's a desert, we're not going to put any forests out here. We're not going to put any forests up here because this is a rocky, snowy ridge. I wish I could make this look a little bit more snowy, these edges, but you could also argue that um, that because it's at an incline, the snow has kind of melted because when it was hit by the sun and slid down. So I guess that's not too terribly bad. So when I get back, we will do the objects for this. And remember, guys, that these are all general. So we could change the numbers around, and as long as we pick out intelligent numbers, we could just as easily do a jungle biome or a temperate biome or something like that. We've done the hard part. We basically have built the framework for this map. So, all right, I'll be right back, guys. Give me just about 5 minutes. I'll leave this up over the somewhere on the map here. There we go. That's pretty. I'll be right back. All right, guys, I'm back. Thank you so much for staying put and not going anywhere. So we pretty much had wrapped up our object generation, or sorry, our terrain generation. And now it's time for us to work on the objects. And we're essentially going to build the objects for this map. We're going to build them going out. I mean, I guess we could... We could... Oh, I'm trying to decide. Do we want to do the objects now, or do we want to establish all the different biomes now? Biomes would probably be a lot more interesting to you guys, but the objects are more important because the objects are what put this map in its playable state. So I think we got to do the objects here. All right, yeah, let's do the objects, and then maybe in my own time I can bake in the different, because it's sort of tedious. I can bake in the different, the different things that we've got here. Oh, I think I was going to do one more thing though. Terrain-wise, I was going to put a couple forests out here. So potentially, we've got to tell them to set avoid player start areas and a couple of forest clumps. But on this particular biome, we actually don't want that because it's a desert. So our forest is going to be the same thing as base terrain. But we will get that forest set up properly, and then we'll just change it to base terrain. So let's just do that real quick, because it is possible every once in a while out here to have a couple forests maybe. All right, it's coming this way, and that we got all that as the oasis layering. I'm going to define it a little bit differently here, and I'm going to say like maybe pond layering, and then yeah, let's do like pond layering or lake layering. I like lakes better than ponds. Ponds are kind of scummy. Okay. And then we're gonna leave this because this is part of the pond. We could let's take a closer look here. So it's everything. The pond layering is everything at elevation 1. So I think that's kind of the big distinction here. So we're going to call lake layering elevation 0. Yeah, just like that. Elev 0. And then we'll type a big fat end if right here. And then we can close that. And then we can do if oasis layering elev 1, elevation 1, and then we'll define that too. Oasis layering elev 1. Just to clean that up a bit, can get rid of this undefined here. We already got rid of the player forests. We don't need that. I mean, it might become relevant later, but it's not important now. And let's do define base layering, or like outer land layering. And then this is not going to be that complicated actually. If outer land layering and if, and it's pretty much going to be us putting a couple of forests out here. here. We can actually do this after we put those forests down as well. Be, I think, safer. Yes, I think it would be much safer, in fact. Neutral forest scattering outland or something like that. And we're going to create terrain, and that terrain is just going to be jungle. The base terrain is going to be BT. Land percent is going to be actually, if we did these base masks first, I don't think we can replace based on these base masks. So I'll tell you what. We should. Yeah, we should do it this way. We should do create terrain. We should really do it the same way that this is done. We're going to do create terrain, and this terrain is going to be foreign base. Foreign base terrain. And land percent is going to be 100. It's going to be one clump, and it's not going to be a terrain mask. And so our foreign base is going to be grass, just grass. So we'll come up here and we'll define foreign base. So, nope, that's not right. Foreign base. And what? Grass is 1, I believe. It's because we're not using it anywhere else. No. Water is 1, grass is 0. So we'll set foreign base equal to 0. And now we're gonna put the jungle down, land percent 4, and we're gonna do like what, 2 clumps, and it's maybe gonna be land percent 1. And we're essentially gonna do the same thing for this. And actually we really need to do foreign trees as well. Actually, we could just do DLC black. That would be fine. So we'll do DLC black. And that's going to be set up on the base terrain. So we're just going to put a splotch of DLC black down. Land percent 1, number of clumps. Number of clumps. Well, nah. We'll just keep it simple for now. So we're just going to see the jungle for now, but in reality, the terrain is going to be, yeah, okay. So we need to put it on base terrain, and then we need to do this again on foreign base. Base terrain, foreign base. So now when we do this, we're going to have grass on one side, desert on another side, and we're going to have 2 jungles on both of them, on each one. So we're going to have a jungle here, and we're going to have a jungle here. And they're approximately that size. I guess we should do space in other terrain types to help them stay away from stuff. And we can do clumping factor as well. We should, I should say. land percent 1 is pretty brutal. So we're going to say number of clumps maybe 4. And clumping factor we're going to set equal to 25. And spacing other terrain types of 2. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Uh-oh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, they need to avoid player starting areas as well. Set avoid player start areas by 20. Yeah, we got 5 on one side, and oh, I guess we got 5 on the other side. All right. Yeah, that's more reasonable. There is wood back here. I don't know that I really want to make it that. But that numerous, I think this is too much. Dang it. Which means I'm going to have to, well, I could try increasing the number of clumps just to make the wood line less convenient if they decide to take out here, depending on the biome. Yeah, we'll leave that as it is. We'll maybe increase the number of clumps. I bet what's happening is it's scaling by groups, and that's where this number of clumps is getting bumped up a little bit. So if we did 5, it would give us 6. Avoiding the player start areas by 20. I think that's actually good. Maybe we bump that up just a little bit more. We make it like 24. Yeah. And now we come back here at the end and we convert, we revert foreign base back to regular base terrain. We make sure that we get it all. So we create terrain, base terrain, ET, from foreign base, number of clumps 9320, and we'll repeat this a few times. Oops. Save it. So now we should have that traditional base terrain on either side. These are avoiding player start areas by a decent chunk. I think this is okay. I want to pull those player starting areas in a little bit anyway, so that should give it a slightly more room. But there's not really going to be much neutral gold out here, at least not for now. And all this trouble, we're really just going to set these jungles equal back to the base terrain, at least um, for this particular setup. So we're not going to have jungle. We're going to have, we'll call it outland forest, if you will. We could call it that. So we'll come over here, and instead of jungle, and of course we should be able to confirm that we once again have the two gold mines. We got one here and we got another here. We'll have the two gold mines on each side, one here and then another right here. So not only do we have a fair number of forests, but we have a fair number of gold mines on each side through a clever use of terrain layering and masking with forests and such. So we just come up here and we say like outland trees or something, or outland forest. I'm trying to think. We might even be able to do just our basic forests here. I'm tempted really to not have different forest types. I think we can actually do a little bit better. Maybe we say something like generic forest. Oh no. We need to have outland forest because some of them are not going to have forests on the outside. That's what it is. So let's come up here and define outland forest. Where is it? Got our base terrain, and base and other outland terrains. And then we're going to say the outland forest. Outland forest is equal to itself, its own base terrain, 14. So now we won't have to worry about any forest showing up out here because this is a desert and we should not have any. So we hit generate and we confirm that they indeed go away. So these deserts are, oh, there it is. Okay, these deserts, no, they don't have any forests out there. All of the wood lines are forward, and so it could play out slightly differently. So here's 2 gold, and then where are the other gold mines? Aha, there they are. Okay, good. So now I think that we're going to make these forests different, though, because these forests will always appear no matter what. You're always going to have, you know, forests growing toward the center of the oasis, and forests growing off in the upland areas, and forests growing off out from that, getting thinner and thinner as it goes out. You're always going to have that as well. So the first thing that I want to do is I actually want to get rid of this. Comment that out. And I will explain why in a sec. But let us maybe put that down here and then comment that all out. So instead of having different types of forest now, we're just going to have a generic name for them. We're just going to call them Oasis Forest. We're going to do the same type of forest throughout all different stages. So, and we're just going to set it equal to whatever the snow pine forest is for now. Or we could actually set it equal to the forest to the dead forest as well. That actually might be a little bit better. But either way, we're just going to do, yeah, we're just going to come in here and we're just going to say oasis forest. Defining general oasis forest. Which means we don't need this. We don't need this. And where were we defining RT1 forest? I guess we really weren't. We're gonna maybe do this here. We're gonna say that this is defining oasis terrains. And this up here is defining lake terrains. There we go. Okay. Good. So we'll come back in here, and we need to do oasis forest. And we need to do oasis forest. We need to do oasis forest. Okay. So, it is all, wait, it's all snowy bushes. Okay. Except for this one right here. What is that? We forgot to, okay, here we go. Yeah, we need to define this as oasis forest as well. And you say, but Tech Chariot, I liked the mixed forests. Oh no! What happened? What seriously happened? Let's keep this seed. Let's keep this seed. I think it has something to do with the random statement. And like the first one, there's some kind of bug if the first one is 100 or something. Okay, good. So we got all these forest terrains down here. And actually the bushes are not placed on the correct terrain type, so that's part of the reason why we're doing this. Let us forest. Actually, we're gonna make it forest dead. What is that? 106? Yes. So when we come up here to say this is our oasis forest, okay. Let's hit generate. And so now it's all this dead forest terrain. And this does look cool in and of itself, but the chief problem is that this isn't desert. These aren't desert trees. These are deciduous trees that have lost their leaves. and they just look like this. It looks like a dead forest, but no, it's just a forest that's waiting for spring to come. So the reason that we set it to that is because we're actually going to do a little bit of fancy shenaniganery. Too bad snow-covered palm trees aren't an option. I don't think there are many places on Earth where you could find snow-covered palm trees. I could be mistaken. It's happened, but rarely. Yeah, not very common. Okay, so we are gonna go and borrow from a little bit of the Gitchigume code again. And we are going to disable, oh no, stop. Disallowing oak tree spawn on forest. Yes, so this is what we want. Okay. Make it spawn on Palm Desert instead. So we basically need to have one of these for every single one. And what we're going to do, this is going to be a little bit tricky. Is we need to find the definition for the dead forest tree. Let's see if this will give us any hints. Snowy bushes and dead trees placed on underbrush snow. Okay. Maybe it would have been easier just to do the pine forest. Who knows? So we're gonna do. Let's open up the objects. Definitive constants list. Dead tree, maybe. Forest, maybe. Bushes from jungle forest, bamboo, tree. Yeah, so we really want tree. DLC rain tree. Oh. What was that? DLC dead tree. Part of the dead snow forest. So we'll have 1250 here. Oops. Let's just try this. 1250. And we'll have that set is equal to DFT, dead forest tree. And we'll see if we can make that spawn on Palm Desert instead for this particular case. So now, when we run it, we should, yes. So those dead trees go away. They are not there anymore because they can no longer spawn on this terrain type. And we will do the same thing for these snowy bushes. So this kind of gives us snowy leaves. And then essentially what we're going to do is we're going to put the trees as objects on top of this terrain. And that will give us more control over how the trees spawn. So let's do that next. Let's look for snowy African bush. Oh no, that's not right. Forage bush with only one food, bush A. DLC African bush. So we want DLC African bush 2, AB2 maybe, 1054, it's snowy with 100 wood. So let's do 1054 here. Constant AB2 or ABS. Yeah, we have it right here actually, 1054. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to set its attribute ABS so that it spawns on Palm Desert instead, disallowing dead tree, traditional tree spawn. On forest, make it spawn on Palm Desert instead. What do you want? Ah, that's fine. Excellent. So now we have no trees. On a mini-map, the mini-map says that we have trees, but we don't actually have any trees. But we do have their base terrain, and this is yummy yummy because our forests will behave normally if we place the trees as objects on top of them. And when the trees are cut down, they will reveal snowy terrain as well, which is another big bonus. So I like this. So let's get that forest set up. How are we going to do that? Well, here's what we have to do. We are going to basically find the equivalent objects for pine forest terrain and for, the bushes and the reeds and everything like that. And we're going to add those to our object spreadsheet. And we're going to run that using our code here. So let us open up Shimmerpool. This is our object spreadsheet. What is this? Okay, it looks like I have a bunch of placeholder stuff here already. Let's see. It looks like it's got good stuff, though. Look at this. Cookie Pirate, you've already played this map. But thank you. I'm just remaking Karga. I'm just giving it more flavors, that's all. Karga with more stuff. Okay, so we're going to take a lot of this stuff here, and we're going to insert rows above. That's what we want. Yes, good. I think you did. It was unfortunate too. I never really would have touched it except there was an update to the game that made one of the objects on Karga not work the way that it used to, and it just completely screwed everything up. It made it so that you could not access the corners anymore. Ugh, it was very annoying. All right, we actually don't quite need this many, but we may add more rows in here. And the whole thing about this is that it's going to be, we'll delete that. We're still going to have town centers. That much is true. So I haven't deleted the first object here. And we're really going to kind of build this out from the center. And so we need objects that are spawning. These forms remind me of my job, says La Muerta Peluda. But this is fun, La Muerta Peluda. I made this spreadsheet. I made this spreadsheet so that my computer program would read the spreadsheet and it would save me a ton of time. Not really, actually, no, that's not true. It doesn't save me any time. In fact, it probably takes me longer. The advantage is it's very powerful. It can do much more than you could ever do without it. It's giving you the inspiration for a new Olympic sport. It is with great pride that I make random map scripts. They are proudly made in the USA. I should put that stamp on them. I guess we got the Mad Catter making random map scripts too. He's from the USA, but Zetnus is from Germany, Krazini's from Denmark. Um, so there's a lot of people from all over the world. We got scripters from China and Germany and all other places. Okay, so let us drag that down. And we think about how we're building this random map script. We basically want we want to set up the forests first because so much of the map depends on forests. You got to get the forests right. And I'm thinking we have these this cap terrain here. So why don't we put down like we're gonna call it a placeholder for now. Shimmerpool. Here we go. So we're gonna call it placeholder. Well, we're just gonna call it on grid. It's not very fancy. And we're gonna define on grid for now. We're going to define grid as whatever flag A is defined as. Let's find it. Just so that we can see it, help us debug things. Okay, flag A is 600. So our on-grid placeholder is 600. It does not have a second object. This is a neutral Gaia, and it might as well be convertible. Actually, we'll make it unconvertible. I think that's the right thing to do here. We're not going to mess with the object quantity, the resource delta, but we're going to make a lot of them. We're going to make 9320. We are going to just not worry about the grouping, give them loose grouping scaling type. We're going to scale by the map size. And we're going to place on that terrain that we had in the center. And let's just go over to our script. And let's see what terrain that is. I believe it is the outer cap terrain. And we're always going to have a robust amount of outer cap. So we can actually call it outer cap here. And it should fly. Yes, in fact, we must call it outer cap here. We're not going to worry about forest distance. We're not going to worry about min distance group placement. That would be a disaster. We are, however, going to specify a temp min distance group placement. And we don't even need to scale that. Let's just specify a temp min distance group placement of, let's say 4. And I don't think we're going to need to do anything with the actor areas on this for now. Override, find closest, force placement. And we're going to copy these and we're going to say no. I don't even remember programming this in, but whatever. It's there. Scenario radius scale factor. Oh, it's been so long. You guys have kept me from my love of random map scripting for so long. Okay, so let's just set up these placeholders. Let's just kind of get a feel for where they are, what they're going to do. So we'll minimize that. We'll come over here. We'll minimize this. We'll find our MATLAB code. And we'll hit run here to make sure that our directory is squared away properly. But really, we don't really want to run this. We just want it to set the right working directory. There we go. That's all we need is this path name right here that we see appear in the workspace. So we scroll down and we're going to take this object autoscribe, but instead of Pandora, which is the previous one that I did, we're going to do shimmerpool.ods. And we're just going to copy this and we're going to paste it into this window and hit enter. And oh, I forgot something. We need to delete this second tab. This second tab we do not need. This is the low resources. This is the Nomad start configuration. We are not ready for that. So we will delete this. We'll probably put one back later, but basically every time that it runs, it searches for a number of tabs and then it will set up a conditional based on that number of tabs. We're also going to come into our script here and we're going to We don't need these golds anymore. I've proven what I wanted to prove. So we can get rid of that, and we don't need the town center. So we can get rid of that because we got the town center in our auto scribe. So now we're going to run that for real, guys. We're going to run that for real. It'll just take a minute here. It's thinking. I should go in and try to improve its efficiency, but it's a long comp. Ooh, what? Where? No. Number to column undefined near line 38. Object autoscribe. Ah, I don't have time for this. All right, well, let's take a look at it. Let's see. Okay, it is line 60. XLS info. Spreadsheet name. Calc cell address. Oh boy, this is inside of XLS info. I can't fix that. Does this no longer support it? I'm running a new version of Octave. That would be quite a disaster if that were the case. I would have to go in and debug my object autoscribe v9 and see what's going on here. Number to column defined. All right, well, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to type help XLS info and just make sure that it remembers it. That's not good. Oh, you know what? Maybe. Oh, hold on a second. It's supposed to be loading the IO package. Let's copy that and paste there. See if it loads it now. Okay, now we're going to type help XLS info. Still doesn't know what it is. All right, let's try this. Help XLS read. Does it know what that is? Okay, it knows what that is, and that is part of the IO package. So how do I get information? Yeah, okay, so it's giving me all kinds of stuff. It knows what it is. I wonder if XLS read just got more sophisticated. And it can tell you like the number of sheets and such. Can read data from XLS.ods and genumeric spreadsheet files. Yeah, okay, so let me just try this one more time, just to make sure that it's not an initialization issue. Okay, let's try running it. Still thinking. Okay, it throws the same error. Number to column undefined near line 38. So I might have to end the stream and troubleshoot this. Let's see. Let's try one more thing. Let's see if it will open this. It will. So somewhere it has this information, although it doesn't have any help for it. At line 158, it's got all kinds of stuff I don't understand. OCT spash info. Sheet names. Yes, this is what I need. I need sheet names. Octave spreadsheet info. And if we said edit that, then it will do number to column is undefined near line 38. Oh, wait. Line 35. sprintf call cell address. Oh, man. These are supposed to be built-in functions. It's the whole point. Edit call cell address. I don't want to change anything here. I might have to, but I don't want to because I don't really know what I'm doing. Number to column undefined near line 38. Help num to call. Does it know anything about that? No, it does not. I could try Googling this, I guess. Number to column undefined. GNU octave. I think somebody found this bug. Somehow columns from a different binary incompatible octave release. Yeah, I'll have to figure this out another time. I'm not going to figure this out right now. Sorry, guys. I guess we will not proceed any further, but our next step is to layer down some placeholder objects, and then we'll set up kind of a probability thing where the closer you are to these placeholder objects in the lake, the more likely it is to be reads. And as you get further away, it'll transition into pine trees, and then it'll transition into bushes the further and further away you get. And we're going to place those objects directly on these forest terrains. So they'll still behave normally, but they'll be exactly the tree type that we want. And we'll pick that up the next time that I do a stream. I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me. We've done this for a little over 3 hours today. And I've got a lot of work to do if I want to get this map ready for potential use in Alchemy League. So stay tuned for that, because our guild is currently internally debating the final details for Alchemy League, and it's going to be awesome. And it's going to be a big competition hosted by our community, and it's going to have custom maps, it's going to have all kinds of new things, and it's going to solve problems that we've seen with other Age of Empires tournaments. We really, sharpened our pencils on this one. mostly me sharpening my pencil to figure stuff out. So thank you, everybody. Yeah, it is going to be a blast. Thanks, everybody, for joining. I will debug that and see what's the mysteries, the octave gremlins are going on. And when I've got that figured out, we will continue and we will finish up this, at least the objects for this map, and then we'll bake in all the different flavors and all the different biomes and such. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys another time.